Hi everyone, we're here at John Sadler's Auto Repair, and today we have a 2006 H2 Hummer, and I took it for a test drive, and it's got some misfires. It has a big loss of power, has a hard time getting out of its own way. So we did an all system scan on it, and we came up with 4 codes that it has. So the first one is PO300. It has the engine misfires detected. And then we can scroll down here and see the other ones. Then we have a U1064, and it's lots of communication with the body control module, and we have an issue sometimes where the air conditioning won't work. Then we have U1000, a class 2 data link malfunction, and I'll have to look that up and see what's going, or U1000, excuse me, look that up and see what's going on with that. But that could be some of the reason why the air conditioning doesn't work at different times. So then we came out to the outside and started looking at things, and looked down and saw that someone's replaced the battery pretty recently here. It has a date code of February 2013, and the little code here, if we can read it. There we go, but it's backwards. If you look down at the positive battery cable, you can see that the cable itself here is all the way smashed up against the metal part of the frame runner there. So eventually that cable is going to run through and weld against the frame. So I'm going to loosen that lock nut up and bring that cable down so it's more straight up and down. These usually have a protective cover over them, and the cover is also missing on this one. Then the steering's really loose when you drive it down the road. It's kind of scary to drive it. And here's the steering box. Coming from the steering box up to the steering wheel is this steering rod right here, steering linkage. And it's just got a whole bunch of play in here. And when you look down at the steering, let's see if I can put a light down here so we can see it. Someone's also changed a bunch of front end parts, but some of the grease fittings, the ball joints and everything, don't have very much grease in them. So I don't know what to figure out what the deal with that is. But I can move this a whole bunch, and if you look right at that grease fitting down there, that's where the pitman arm comes off down there. And you can see I'm moving this a lot. That arm's not even moving. So the steering box for sure is way out of adjustment. Next we got the brake fluid right here. So there's the reservoir. Looks dark on the outside. Look on the inside, looks black like engine oil. So the brake fluid's real dirty. It does have new brake pads front and rear. And then I went to check the power steering fluid, which is inside this reservoir here. And we'll open this up, and you can't even read it on the stick because it's very low on fluid. And we'll see if we can see down inside that reservoir at all. But the fluid's way down at the bottom of the reservoir. So that tells me this vehicle has a leak. A lot of vehicles will have a power brake unit, and they'll be made to run on vacuum. This is called a Hydro Boost unit. This unit here runs on engine power steering pressure. So this whole box here, you can see it's all these big stains, all wet. And if you look down underneath down here below, you can see it's just all wet with fluid. And what happens is, I'll get a mirror so I can show you exactly. Where the unit actually bolts to the master cylinder, it's too dark, we're not going to be able to see it, but where this unit here bolts to the master cylinder on the bottom, there's a bleed hole down there, like an excess hole. What's happened is when this unit goes bad, all the fluid starts to leak out of the power steering fluid reservoir. That's why that's low, and that's why it's all wet with fluid all down along here. And it's all wet down on the frame rail down here, you can see. So it's been leaking for a while. And so it's going to need to have a new unit put on there. The misfire, it looks like the spark plug wires Looks like the original ones that came with the vehicle. It's got like 110,000 miles on it. And then I want you to look at the air intake, and you can see it's just all black and all carboned up. Well, part of the reason that is if you look at the air intake bellows, here's where it goes to the air cleaner housing. You can see it's got a nice round smooth area. Where it hooks to the throttle body, it's got this big damaged lip here where someone just forced it on. And when they forced it on, it's sucking dirt inside the engine. So down inside of here, all this dirt you see, it's not supposed to be there. If you look at the other side, they were sealing properly. Very minimal amount of dirt there. It's pretty clean. That's how it's supposed to be. So someone just forced it on and left it that way. So the inside of the motor is full of carbon and dirt now. And so all these things can be fixed, but that's just a quick overview. When you're checking out a vehicle and you want to scan for codes, look at the fluids, look for leaks, and that gives you a pretty good evaluation, something good to start with. We'll fix that positive battery cable, because it won't be too long driving around where that cable's going to wear through, and then that metal positive battery cable, the red cable, is going to run right into this metal part of the body, and we're going to have a problem. So that's a little tip from John Sadler's. When you're working on things, looking at things, get all the information from the customer, and then go take it for a test drive. That's how I found out it didn't have any power, wouldn't get out of its own way. And I'll fill you in more if we do this job, what we do. And thank you very much, and have a nice day.